Previously, I installed a very large 300-watt solar panel on a trailer behind my bike. It worked, but it's quite big and very impractical. Towing a trailer behind the bike is wasteful energy. A lot of power is wasted by just towing the panel. I want to have a panel mounted on the back of the bike itself so I don't have to tow a trailer behind. The solar panel is going to be smaller, but I don't have to waste energy towing a trailer. Today, I'm going to install a couple of solar panels on the rear rack. I will show you how I install it, how to charge the battery with these solar panels, and finally I will put it to the test by making an epic journey on the bike trail to see how far I can go with these solar panels. This bike is going to be truly solar powered. All of the energy comes from the sun. Am I going to get unlimited power coming from the sun? Get a beer or a cup of coffee, some popcorn. Sit back, relax, and enjoy because this is going to be an epic journey. Let me show you my solar setup here. I've got two solar panels. Each one is 100 watts. Each puts out about 22 volts open circuit. I've got two connected in series. So the open circuit is about 44 volts. This is the solar charge controller I'm using. It's an eco-worthy boost charge controller, so the input from the solar panel, the voltage is lower than the output. My bike requires about 55 volts to go into the plug to charge the battery, and my solar panel only puts out about 44 volts, and that's why I need a boost converter. I have two boost converters that I can use. This one is just pure boost converter, so it takes a low voltage and puts out a higher voltage. I have tried this before on this bike, and it puts out about 110 watts maximum. The output on this one fluctuates a lot. It's not very stable. This one, however, the output is very stable, and I got about 127 to 130 watts out of these two panels, which is pretty good. I have tested these two panels and under optimum condition. Each only puts out about 70 watts maximum. So to get about 65 watts each panel, that is a very good conversion, very good efficiency. And also this thing is a lot better than this, because with this one you have to adjust to an optimum range, and it takes a little bit of fiddling, whereas this one is automatic. And right now we are putting out 51.1 volts from the output and 2.95 amps, so almost 3 amps. So if you do the math, 51 times 3, that's about 150 watts. So the way I modify the plug is that this is just the original plug that plug in and charge the bike with the wall charger. I cut out the cable right here and solder an XT60 connector, and the wires, the positive and negative cables, go straight to the charge controller, and that's where the output that goes out at 51 volts right now to charge the battery. In case you know what it is, that is the specs along with the model number of this charge controller. And the reason why I can do this is because this bike allows me to plug in and charge the battery while it's still going. So let me show you the screen here. Right now it's at 77% charge. You see it is increasing to 78% now, so that way I can charge the bike at the same time while I'm riding the bike. Besides these two options, you can also use this charge controller. It's actually a boost converter where it takes a lower voltage and puts out a higher voltage. The model number is MPT7210A. I tried this one yesterday and it was completely terrible. Every time I go through a shady spot, this controller resets itself. It takes like a few minutes to reset itself, and that's a completely waste of power. During that time, it's not producing anything. And when the sun is behind the cloud, it keeps going in and out of the clouds, and this thing barely works. it spent most of its time trying to reset itself. That was a complete failure on this one. But with this one and this one, they are different. When they go through a shady spot, it reduces the power, right? Of course. But they do not reset themselves. As soon as I go out of the shady spot, they continue to work at full speed without having to take any time to reset themselves. So let me demonstrate. Right now, we are at about 125 watts. I'm gonna simulate the shading effect and throw this on. Okay, let's see what we got. See, the output here is reduced to about half an amp at 50 volts, right? And this is reduced to 26 watts. Okay, let me remove the shade, and the output jumps right up. See, it's increasing. 2.8 amps immediately, and the output here immediately goes back to 126 watts. So it does not take any time to reset itself, unlike this one. So this is perfect for this setup. I've got everything installed and ready to go. The charge controller is mounted and it's charging the battery right now. It's putting out 55 volts, low current because the panel is in the shade right now. Two panels in series putting out 44 volts. Input here, output right here, 55 volt DC, and go straight to the charging port. Let me show you how I mount the solar panel. Got two rails from the garage opener that's mounted on my rear rack here. The two solar panel is mounted on the rails using this piece of rubber. I got a screw going from the bottom of the rubber going up, and that is where I mounted the solar panel. Here's what it looks like from the bottom. It's very secure. I have reset the trip distance to 0 and the battery is 100%. The two solar panels will charge my bike at the same time while I'm riding the bike. And I want to see how far I can go before the battery goes out. And this is going to be throttle only, no pedaling. I'm taking a break here, and I have gone exactly 7 miles. Battery state of charge still 100%. Isn't that amazing? Let's check out the charge controller. We are charging at 53 volts, 1.7 amps. That's why the battery is still 100%. Let's keep going. Let's get back on the road. We are encountering some headwinds. Very windy today. That's my maximum speed. 22 miles per hour. I'm here at In-N-Out taking a lunch break. Let me show you what I've got. We're at 8.5 miles in, and the battery state of charge is still 95%. No, 95%. Let's see what we got down here. Still charging at about 0.8 amp, 53 volts. So that's about 35 watts. It's quite shady here, so that's why we're not producing a lot of power, but that's still 35-40 watts right there. enough to top up the battery close to 100%. Lunch is out. Yummy. Alright, just finished lunch. It's been charging in the shade. We're at 0.6 amps at 53.9 volts. And the battery is 100%. Isn't that cool? Let's head back to the trail. Guess who was ahead of me? It's the Wi-Fi. She's riding at about 20 miles per hour. Isn't that crazy? Lance Armstrong. 20 miles per hour. That's how fast you went. You're a buff. Yeah. I'm taking a break. Right now, we're at 13.9 miles. Almost 14 miles. And the battery state of charge is still 93%. And we are charging 53.4 volts at 3 amps. So that's about 150 watts. Guess who's in front of me? That's Lance Armstrong right there. 18 miles per hour, constant. Oh my God. That's it? Yeah. Well, you go. I'll continue.
Okay, you go.
Yeah.
Do your thing. I'll go home first.
Okay. My battery is still 92%.
Wow.
I don't know when it's gonna go to.
Drain it?
Yeah, I try to, but it doesn't. It go up to 93%. Oh my God. So how am I gonna get down to zero? This way. Maybe never. Oh, when the sun is out. I didn't think about it.
You gotta go until the sun is out.
Maybe. We'll see.
You got your big map.
Okay. Alright. See you later. Time to say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. I'm on my own now. We're at 15.5 miles distance, and the battery state of charge is 92%. Oh man. Right now we're at 16.6 miles, 89% battery. The conundrum I'm facing right now is my shadow is this way, which is if I sit right here, my shadow is going to be right on the solar panel. Right now we are at 22 miles and the battery state of charge is 69%. The reason why the battery goes down to 69% is because it's getting late and I no longer see the sun. There is a thick cloud right now. Nevertheless, we are still producing 1.2 amps at 50 volts. That's about 60 watts. This charge controller is amazing. It's very efficient. So right now I got two problems. Number one is getting late, so the shadow is long. So it would easily cast my shadow right on the solar panel. And that's not good for the panel. And number two problem is the clouds. I don't see the sun anymore. For the couple minutes I'm here, the battery goes back up from 69 to 71%. That is It's pretty cool. So at 22 miles of range right now, usually my battery would have been long dead, but we are still at 71%. We still have a long way to go before it goes dead on me, so that is pretty good. I would say I have unlimited range as long as the sun will shine. Here we go. Backpack is on the front. Mile 40. Battery state of charge 32%. We're still going strong. Check this out, and it's now 5 p.m. so you can see my shadow here. It's pretty long shadow, but we're still charging at 2 amps, 45.5 volts. That's about 90 watts. We're still going strong. But the problem I have now is you can see my shadow is way too long, so when I sit on the bike, it's gonna cast a shadow to the panel, and that will kill the output. So for this setup, it's best to have the sun right above your head, and that's between 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. However, at 40 miles, I'm already twice the range compared to the original battery without the solar panel, that is. And we are still at 33% battery, and it's still going up. All right, let's move on before that dog jumps out of that fence and eat me alive. Mile 42. Battery state of charge 20%. The sun is going down. You can see how long my shadow is. Right now, it's 5:30 p.m. Sun's still shining, and we're still charging, amazingly. 43.8 volts at 1.8 amps. That's about, what, 80 watts? That's amazing. Still charging when the sun is almost down. The star of the show, the solar charge controller I'm using, is changing output so quickly. There's no delay in the output at all. So let me put the shadow on it and then remove the shadow. You can see how fast it changed. That's all I can do today. It's time for me to go home and eat dinner. I'm completely knackered and exhausted after doing this all day today. And by the way, while we're here for the last 5 minutes, the battery state of charge goes up from 20% to 24%. Even when the sun is almost down. That's amazing.